All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special edition of the 2025 4Runner. And of course, we are your hosts, TRD Pro Bro 1, MJ40, and TRD Pro Bro 2.
A-list Andrew.
I just lip sync that with them, right? It's kind of fun.
Who said it?
I see a lot of movies, I had to throw that in there, which we are focusing on this amazing product, right? I'm going to drive that across the screen because it's awesome. And if you enjoyed this episode, like our many others, please like, comment, and share with others so we can get this information out. But I want to do a quick review on what you can expect on this episode. It's going to be all about the 4Runner, right? The beginning and what led us to the 6th generation 4Runner. And what's so cool about the 6th generation, we're going to turn loose the A-list on this thing. He's going to be almost professor mode on how amazing this product is. We're going to give you that technical overview of the powertrain, the paint, and the chassis. We've got a special interview with Automotive Ventures on the TNGAF platform versus the competition. We have the truck manager on grade strategy, which Andrew's going to kick in and kind of support that. We also have our new teammate, Mountain Meg. She's going to megafy the whole lifestyle vibe on this product and how special it is. We also have the 4Runner product planning manager. She'll give us a scope on the 4Runner, how they kind of scoped it. We also have Curbside Keller with a bunch of amazing interviews from an accessory standpoint. And A-list. This is going to be one of my favorite parts, dude. When A-list turns up the volume.
That's right.
On cool accessories he likes.
We will bring some heat.
It's some of the things he was telling me this morning. I was like, I don't know. And I saw it and I'm like, I'm down.
I made him a believer.
I was a believer. I would actually spend money personally doing what he told me to do. I was in a trance, right? And then we're gonna train you, right?
Yeah. So as you know, we have our 4Runner launch coming up. You probably heard some inklings about it. We're still finalizing some things. We're hustling through that so we can get it to you as soon as possible. But what we want to do is just give you a little bit of foundation, a little background, so that when you're there with us, we can focus on specific items and your driving experience. So we've got the virtual dealer training that's going on. Make sure you're going to check that out. We're going to bring you some information here, and hopefully that gives you some pre-work and some foundation so we can spend more time in the vehicle and less time sitting in a classroom.
And again, we now have 6 generations of the 4Runner. I know you regret giving me the sticker.
I know.
Because I can't stop doing that.
He only gets one sticker.
So only one sticker. But it all started with inspiration from a Toyota truck. This truck only had 97 horsepower.
A dog.
From a 2.4 liter inline 4-cylinder.
Carbureted.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine driving this truck in Colorado up in the mountains.
You can. It would just be really, really slow.
Yeah. And to be respectful to people behind me, I'd have to put on the hazards,
right,
get to the side of the road, try to chug through.
Yeah, you just drive on the shoulder.
Yeah. And I'm 53, so when I was young, that was very common back in the early 80s, 70s to go very slow through the mountains because they just didn't have the power.
Right. Yeah.
But what's so interesting is this truck was probably in the 4 to 5 range, I would say. And today the asking could be anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 for this truck,
which is insane. Like, it's crazy. Super cool vehicle, and I am a diehard, dyed-in-the-wool red Toyota guy. Okay, but $50,000 for a Trekker, I still don't like it that much. And that's who knows how good of a job they did restoring it. They're finding random fabrics. I mean, this was not a production vehicle for Toyota. This was a conversion.
Yeah.
This was Toyota produced a truck. Someone wanted more seats. You send it to Winnebago, and they modify it from there. So this isn't a Toyota quality situation. It's crazy.
Yeah, from 1981, 1983. But the first thing I thought of when I looked at the Trekker, it should be in a Hallmark or a Lifetime Christmas movie.
100%.
Navy SEAL, lost his way. He drives into town in a Toyota Trekker.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a Christmas tree farm there, obviously.
Yeah. I know Curbside Keller would love this whole scenario.
Yeah. He's rolling his eyes as hard as he can now. But from there, the 4Runner was born, right? So the 4Runner 1984 is our first model year of that vehicle. incredible. And our first generation, we're running from 1984 to 1989, and there were a ton of changes within this first generation. Usually, we wait a whole generation to actually see some significant changes. First generation, we started with a carbureted 4-cylinder and a solid front axle. 1985, the golden year. We had a solid front axle and fuel injection. Really incredible. That is the vehicle to find if you can find it. Then we moved to independent front suspension in 86. We also added a 3-liter V6 engine at some point. And now we end up in 1989 with multiple changes along the way. So we went from carbureted only, solid front axle only vehicle to independent front suspension and a V6 model available. Lots of changes which move us into the next generation. Now, the thing that's unique about this, 2-door removable top. That is what defines this first generation vehicle, even though there were so many other things going on, but that's what we look back to today. And that was the first 4Runner I owned, was the first generation. I loved it. It was awesome. And then I started having kids, and 2 doors and car seats do not mix very well.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool too, because you look at this first generation, they retail for what, $2,600 to $4,000.
Yeah.
Today, I was looking on the used car market, like Blue Book, 16 grand. You're thinking, why is it so much less than a Toyota Trekker?
Yeah.
But what's ironic with the Toyota Trekker is they only made 1,500 of them, so it was a huge limitation on being able to get them.
So really, a first gen now is a steal.
Yeah.
I mean, you get
total steal.
I would definitely rather have a first gen, and it's cheaper. It's a win-win.
Exactly. You get a lot more too.
Right. So if you notice back at that time frame, the trucks, the Toyota pickup and the 4Runner were very similar. Front clip of the vehicle, all the same parts, mixed, matched. And honestly, side note, my first 4Runner I built from a lot of other parts. I used the carcass of a truck and its guts, and I put it into the body of a 4Runner. Everything just went back and forth, no problem. That was globally known as the Hilux, right? And so in Japan, in the second generation, 1990 plus, we actually saw the Hilux Surf as the creation. So they didn't use that 4Runner nomenclature, and they didn't have a first generation, but they did from then on have the Hilux Surf, which is super cool. And you guys probably saw that, paid homage to at SEMA this year, where they made a removable top and they named it the Surf. And a lot of people were like, cool, a 4Runner Surf. That's really neat. And some of you who are just diehard enthusiasts were like, yes, I see where they got this name.
I like how they put surf across the door to let everyone know that they're surfing.
Right, exactly.
But that Hilux Surf name to me is just amazing. Like it would be cool if they could do a 4Runner Hilux Surf Special Edition.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Because you go out of this country, third world countries, Hilux is a iconic name. Mm-hmm. Australia, it's pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah. All of them. Any place that has rough conditions and it needs to survive is a Hilux.
You're Hiluxing it.
Yeah, totally.
It's a verb.
That's right. Hiluxing.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing is that when we started going to the beginning of this 4Runner concept, we were surfing the web, doing a lot of research on this, and I was amazed at how many articles were surfacing from like AutoBiscuit, Fandom, Autoboom.com, and MSM.com, and Flashlist.com, and a lot of blogs. They were all over the blogs. The name 4Runner came from an executive at Saatchi & Saatchi. He was a copywriter named Robert Nathan. And as a play to the term 4Runner, like what is to come, right? Spell
like
it.
Forefathers, F-O-R-E.
F-O-R-E, right? The agency held contests to invent new names for Toyota's forthcoming vehicles. Forthcoming 4Runner. The 4 described its 4-wheel drive capabilities and its 4-wheel drive system. And the Runner was referenced to its all-terrain off-road capabilities. You could run it off-road. Now, it sounds kind of funny because a typical 4Runner customer now, of course it can go off-road, right? But back then, this was a new product. We had to emphasize that this product is designed specifically for you to be able to go off-road.
Totally. And honestly, this idea of crowdsourcing a name is not far-fetched, right? That, if you didn't know, that's how Toyota found one of its first logos was, hey, have a contest for all the people who work for us and see who can come up with the best idea. Yeah. So honestly, Robert, thank you
Yeah.
And I totally believe this.
Yeah, and it's funny too because you drop an SR5 badge on it, done deal.
Oh,
Like, yes,
yes.
please.
That was
And it's funny because when you look at what that SR5 meant, it was Sport Rally 5-speed.
Yeah.
Right? That's what
Yeah.
it meant. And we're
Totally.
putting it on an 8-speed 2025 model.
Yeah.
But it's so iconic that our customers don't care. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, dude, give me the SR5. Let's call it a day.
Yeah, we asked them to change it to SR8. We never got a response back. But SR5 was the cream of the crop. It was the best package you could get. And now that's where we start with, right? And not to say that SR5 is not good. It's just to show that this is how far we've come. Your premium package on the first generation, second generation 4Runner is now where we start because it's so much better. We've added so much into the capability of this vehicle.
Yeah, and I remember in high school, my dad lived in Miami. I joined these guys. We went all the way up the coast of Florida looking for surf in an SR5. I remember saying to myself, man, this SR5 is amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was slow, but it was so reliable, so well built.
Yeah.
And I remember having my permit, and they were falling asleep on the way home, and they said, can you drive? And I drove home all the way back to Miami with a permit in an SR5.
Amazing.
Best experience ever.
To be fair, though, weren't all the other cars also slow? It's not like this one was crazy slow.
True.
Right? It was on par, maybe a little less.
Yeah.
But the bar wasn't as high as it is today.
But the cool factor of that truck, I remember, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I was like,
It had a removable top. Come on.
yeah. But, it did improve once you go to second gen.
Yes.
Tell about second gen.
Oh, right. So second gen, 1990 to 1995, these are some significant improvements where we added a V6. Now, some of you are going to be like rolling your eyes at 3.0 V6. It drank a lot of fuel and didn't produce a ton of power. However, the total package was a really nice improvement. We got a lot more features inside. We have coil rear suspension. We changed. So from 1990 forward, we never had leaf springs again. And Tacoma just switched from that with its newest iteration, right? So there are a lot of little changes that we see nowadays that started a long time ago. The other big thing, this was my personal favorite, is we changed to a 4-door body. So there were still 2 doors available, but the majority of the production was a 4-door body, which is, again, what we see today.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that are now in our popularity and focal points for our 4Runner, really we saw in our second generation slowly moving forward. And then when we go to 96 to 2002, our third generation, this is a very loved generation of 4Runner. This is where we kind of bridge the gap for modern vehicles and old vehicles. So we had kind of a similar body size as our first and second gen, and the capabilities and the utilitarian feel, but we got things like automatic climate control on the inside. We got a new 3.4 liter V6 that actually had power and fuel economy. We had better transmissions. We had electronic rear lockers. The other thing that changed was we went from a sliding rear window with a tailgate to a hatch with a sliding rear window. So this was kind of a good blend of old school feeling and utilitarian and size, but some more modern features that are still usable in today's world. And then we also changed that front independent suspension to a coilover instead of torsion bars. So that also was a big change from the aftermarket world and people modifying their vehicles.
And to me, that was a game changer because the leaf springs was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right? It was a good system and it was inexpensive.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did that.
Yeah.
But you saw in a lot of these older ones that slag after a while if they're still driving it, and going to coil springs, you don't have that same issue.
And your ride quality, like it's really controlled. It's great ride quality. It's great articulation. And the thing is that leaf springs have their place. And can you make leaf springs perform at that level? You absolutely can. But from a factory mass production standpoint, it's a lot harder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why we have coils. So when we go to our fourth generation, 03 to 09, this is where, to me, we moved into a more modern platform. And it's not to say the old one was bad or this one's better, but we went away from the smaller size, mostly utilitarian feel with some features to a truly modern feeling vehicle, a little bit larger, less utilitarian than it was before. We introduced 2 incredible engines in fourth generation. That was the 1GR V6, the 4-liter V6, which, by the way, we ran all the way through until this newest generation, which is insane to me. And then there was also a limited amount of 4.7-liter V8, the 2UZ, same engine as what we saw in our Sequoias and Tundras, shoehorned into this tiny little 4Runner. And they are very highly sought after because they're much more rare, kind of like Trekker versus first gen 4Runner. But both of them are unbelievable powertrains in that fourth generation.
Two of my favorite names, right? I mean, who doesn't like a 1 Uzi engine, right? Or a GR like our Gazoo Racing, or
right.
Gurr, baby
right.
Gurr.
It is basically the opposite, though. It is not fast and racy.
Yeah. That is true.
Yes.
But the name sounds awesome. It's
yes.
kind of like the Jay-Z super engine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just awesome.
The 1GR was developed to be a truck motor. It was focused on utilitarian use, not high revving, fast, whatever. And people will tell you that, right? They drive that vehicle, even a 2024 4Runner. It's not anything special. You're not winning races, but you can pedal to the metal all the way up I-70. It will accomplish the goal that you set out to do, and it will be just fine after you're done.
And it's cool you say that, because where I live, I have a lot of people I know that are in these older 4Runners, and they don't complain too much about the power, because one kid, he's in college right now, he's in a 1999, 1998 4Runner, and has 250,000 miles on it. And when I talk to him, you just listen to the engine, it sounds brand new.
Yeah.
Like, they claim these engines are bulletproof.
Yeah.
And they have to service them, right?
Right. Yeah. With maintenance, they're bulletproof. Yeah. Exactly.
And they all say that over and over and over. That's why I drive Toyota, because these things last forever.
Yeah.
So it's cool getting these customers' perspectives.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And again, the fact that I can share with them that from 03 to 24, it used the same engine.
Yeah, and it's cool too, because they've appreciated. They're actually appreciating assets when you look at the first MSRP cost and what they're on the market for now. It's pretty crazy.
It's wild.
Reminds me of the FJ Cruiser, FJ40, FJ Cruiser,
there
MJ40.
MJ40, talking about the FJ Cruiser.
Yeah, I mean they were what, 27,000 retail. Now they're 30 to 50,000.
Yeah,
it's like a Supra price increase.
It's wild. You're like, dang, I should have bought some of those.
Yeah.
So our last generation, the 5th gen, this is what we have been seeing on the road, and we're going to start slowly replacing those with our 6th gen. The 5th generation was 2010 to 2024, and this is, I mean, 4Runners were making their nameplate popular, but this one really feels like it solidified the current group of buyers, right? You had the group of people who loved 4Runners and always bought them. But when you went into the 5th generation, it felt like you grabbed a whole new group of people and brought them in under this nameplate. So 5th generation is really solidified itself in the lineup of an incredible vehicle for so many types of users. So it was a tall order to implement a generation that would push that out.
Yeah.
Right? That is not an easy task to do. I think they've done it, personal opinion. And what this new vehicle can do is incredible. So I will leave it there. 5th generation is the one that we're replacing, and it's got so many good features, styling, and cult following that we've got to get this information out there for people to help them understand that we've done it justice.
So a lot of our audience is probably thinking 2010 to 2023 for that 5th gen. And there was some
24.
Oh, 24.
Yeah,
okay.
24.
So there was some variations, but for the most part, it was the same generation.
Yeah.
You're probably wondering, why did that go so long? And a lot of it, there was a lot of speculation that they were going to kill the 4Runner, which would have been such a bummer, right?
I can't even imagine. Right now, I cannot imagine that.
Yeah, and a lot of it was just government emission standards, right? It wasn't one of our best fuel-efficient vehicles. And when you look at CAFE and CARB mile per gallon averages, that and the FJ40 was really hurting our company, making sure that we were above that standard.
The FJ Cruiser.
FJ Cruiser.
MJ40.
I keep saying FJ40. Right?
I know.
Is it because I'm MJ40?
No one wants to get rid of the 40.
No
okay?
one.
We're all sad about
No one,
that.
right? And we could make those again.
I would love that.
Probably won't happen. Anyhow, but yeah, so those standards, I remember talking to Bob Carter, one of our U.S. leaders at the time, and he says, hey, this is all contingent. This 4Runner is contingent on the RAV4 hybrid success. And when they debuted that RAV4 hybrid, it was getting, 40 miles per gallon on average? It was insane how amazing that product was. And I remember my wife driving one, and she's saying, this has got to be the greatest car ever.
Yeah, there's a reason why you can't find them.
And your wife drives the BZ, and she thinks it's the greatest car ever.
100%. 100%.
So it is amazing how much people like high mileage vehicles, right? And the success of this RAV4 really saved the 4Runner. So the 4Runner owes everything to its little brother.
Yep. Yeah, and they complement each other well, right? They're starting to like enter into similar spaces where you go to a trailhead and it's like 4Runners and RAVs.
Yeah. Yeah, Andrew and I got a little sneak peek of the next generation RAV4. We can't say much because there's an embargo on it, but oh my gosh, I felt like I fell in love.
Am I always excited for trucks and SUVs for sure? But am I stoked about RAV? Yes.
Yeah. And if I was at the prom and I saw that RAV4 in the corner, I would ask it out for a date.
100%.
Yeah. Maybe even a dance. I don't know. So, yeah, it's literally the savior, in my opinion, on the current 6th-gen and where we're going with this product. So, anything you want to add?
I just want to add that, understanding some of this background, that there was a time where it may not have continued, it really makes sense why we saw that refresh in 2014, right? This is all kind of in the same time frame. And it's nice to see that little update, that refresher that, again, has taken us from 2014 to 2024. And no one's been, this looks ugly, this. You don't hear that. People are just buying it and using it and loving it. So we're doing things right. We're making the right decisions. We're grateful for the planners and the people who developed the RAV4 hybrid and have helped us save this 4Runner line and brought it to where we're at today.
Yeah, pure awesomeness.
So the only way that we can really top this is by going out in the mountains and taking a peek at this vehicle and taking you through some more information. So let's get out there.
And what I liked about this too, before we go there, is we're in the studio right now. Well, Andrew and I made the front cockpit of this vehicle, the studio.
That's right.
How rad is that?
Mobile studio.
Let's go. Everyone, this is MJ40, and I'm with my teammate, A-List Andrew, and we are driving the Trail Hunter version of the 4Runner 2025. And we're up in the mountains. So I want to give you an idea of the kind of terrain that Andrew gets to drive in. Just these windy roads as we continue to climb altitude. Twisty and turny, lots of snow on the ground.
Beautiful.
Yes. So yeah, Andrew, this is where that powertrain versus previous gens really makes a difference, right? Because in this part of the road, you're looking at 6, 8, somewhere upwards of 10% grades. Like, especially after these turns, when you go up, that's a 10% grade right there.
I'm going to crack the window and show you the difference.
Oh yeah, that thing's got juice. Oh, I like the throttle. It's like a Supra.
This is what we didn't have in our other vehicles.
Yeah, that is amazing.
One other thing to roll through besides this gorgeous Trail Hunter styling is this control center right here, right? So all of the really trick items that come with these vehicles is all laid out in the center console here. So we've got our transfer case selection. So these vehicles are all part-time, sorry, not all. They are part-time four-wheel drive for all vehicles that are four-wheel drive, except for the Limited and the Platinum. Those are going to be full-time four-wheel drive. So you will not see this 4 high button here. So because these are part-time, we're usually in 2 high. We push our button in here and rotate it to 4 high, rotate it to 4 low. Obviously, you're going to want to make sure that you're in neutral when you're going to 4 low. But very simple and very easy and intuitive to get that in here. This one, we've also got drive mode, multi-terrain select, tow haul, and DAC with crawl. So really cool because it turns this knob into multifunctional. So right now I'm changing drive mode. You see that on the dash. If I change it to multi-terrain select, so when we're controlling our other drive modes that we have on here, we start out normally in drive mode. That's our eco, sport, and normal. We have multi-terrain select. Tow haul is just a single button that turns on tow haul plus. Downhill ascent control and crawl are another function. But these two just change which features you're switching through on this roller dial. So really nice setup. Again, having it all easy to get to in one place is really nice. It's just a little bit change in our setup from the past, but really easy and intuitive. When we come over here, this one has trailer straight path assist. So this is part of our trailer technology package, along with our integrated brake controller up here. We've got our rear diff lock, which is awesome. Our stabilizer bar disconnect. I'll show you a little bit on that when we go outside. And then this also has our view button. So this is what we get to click to see all of our panoramic view monitors if we don't have a multi-terrain select equipped vehicle, or our multi-terrain monitor when we do have multi-terrain select equipped vehicle. So again, you should be familiar with this. And then if you'll notice, we've changed our plugs to all USB-C. So there's two down here. There's one on the side of the monitor right on the side here. So we've got a lot of charging and USB options. One thing to note, our heated steering wheel button is actually over here on the left-hand side. So different place than Land Cruiser and Tundra and Sequoia. So just know that if you've got a heated steering wheel, you're going to look for that right over here on the left. And everything else is pretty familiar from what you've seen. You also see over here, again, being a trail hunter, we've got all the bells and whistles. We've got our auxiliary buttons. So 3 options for auxiliary ports that are located around the vehicle. So we're going to come down to the meat and potatoes of this thing. Our TNGA-F platform, and some of you have heard the term Dejima welding, others haven't. First, I want to point out these gorgeous bronze upper control arms. You'll get some more info on that later. I won't spend too much time on it. But this trail hunter is equipped again with Old Man Emu suspension. So we get a 1-inch lift out of it. Really nice tuned 2.5-inch diameter shocks. And then these upper control arms, which is awesome. But 2 things I want to point out down here that are nerdy and nitty gritty. You can see this seam line right here. There's a seam line right here. That is part of our Dejima welding process. So these are different thicknesses of metal that are cut, laser welded together, and then formed into the box frame. So we get the strength of a box frame without all of the extra weight. And the other thing that's amazing is you can see how thin these weld lines are because it's laser welded. That also reduces the capability for corrosion to start because it's a super small line. So amazing technology we've developed for our platform, and it's carried across on all the TNGA-F platform vehicles. The last thing I want to show you is this little guard right here. This is actually the control that comes down to our sway bar or stabilizer bar disconnect mechanism, which is just on the other side of the frame here. So seeing these little Easter eggs, if you will, little signs of the technology, the development, and the features and functionality that have gone into this vehicle always gets me excited. The only thing that's better than these vehicles that have been developed for us is being able to utilize them in a place like this. This is why we customize them. This is what they're developing them for. They're looking at how customers use them and how we can really enjoy a place like this. The new powertrain, the off-road features, the comfort inside. This is the perfect place to enjoy it, and all the scenery around it just adds to the experience. All right, so we got to see a little bit on the vehicle. We want to talk a little bit more about what does it look like to our competitors, right? And so this is really our TNGA-F platform. Now, I can tell you all about it. I would love to do that, but you all know how biased I am, right? Mm-hmm. Toyota can do no wrong. So, ditto. So we reached out to our friends, the Hill brothers, specifically Wes Hill. You guys have seen him, and you probably love him like we do from our new model launches that we do in your markets. We went out to him at the Pacific Raceway in Seattle. If you didn't know this, they also are driving instructors. So these guys have the knowledge and the resume to back up everything. It's really incredible. But what we wanted was his take on our TNGA-F platform and technology in comparison to the competitors, which they also have a lot of experience with. So we have MJ40 interviewing him. Let's go over to that now.
Folks, I'm in Seattle right now. MJ40 TRD Pro Bro, and I'm with Wes Hill with Performance Racing. Pretty amazing. As you guys audience can tell, he does a lot of our training as well. But we are here specifically in the scope of the 4Runner, and I'm going to ask you one question in regards to the next gen that we're bringing in.
Yep.
What's your favorite thing about TNGA F, which the next one will have?
That's a great question. I think for me, the thing I like most about this new format that they're building these trucks off of is their strength, right? And what that does is, as the chassis gets stronger and the frame gets stronger, it gives you a better on-road drive, but it's also much more capable off-road. It's designed to be smoother and quieter on the highway when you're commuting, but if you go to Home Depot and pick up a load of whatever and put it in the back, it handles that weight much better than the previous generations, right? It's just the construction is so much better now that it's smoother and quieter, and it's much stronger, and it has much more capability off-road.
I almost feel like it's safe to say it's almost like a unibody experience with a body on frame.
With a body on frame.
Technology.
So you get the strength of the unibody, no squeaks, no rattles, it carries the weight better, but you also get the advantages of the body on frame, right? The independence, the suspension that's kept away from the body, it's got mounts in there that isolate vibration and sound, so you get the best of both worlds.
Question, and we've kind of addressed it with the previous one, but when we talk about TNGA and the money that Toyota's put in to build this type of frame technology, which is very expensive, right? And we look at QDR, how does Toyota measure up against the competition in the segment?
Well, what we see, because on our side of the business, right, we work with all the different brands that are out there, and some of them are unibody, some of them are still body on frame. But what we notice when we get in the Toyota products is that their quality, right off the showroom floor, you can see the quality. But where I see it is when we're doing a long-term test, and you get in a vehicle that's got 200,000 miles, that's where you start to see the money that Toyota has invested in their research and their R&D. That's where it starts to show. The reality is a lot of those other brands, it's hard to find their SUVs and their trucks with 200,000 miles on it, but you see it all the time in the dealerships. People are coming in 300,000 miles on their old 4Runners. That's not a big surprise. You get with another brand, and if you see one with 300,000 miles on it, everybody's shocked. In fact, all the salespeople go back to the service drive to see the car that has 300,000 miles. At a Toyota store, yeah, that's just an everyday occurrence. So that's where the difference is between the different brands.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of customers claim that at 200,000 miles in a Tacoma 4Runner, it's just broken in.
Absolutely. You know, one place where I see that is people talk about the transfer cases, right? And they're a little awkward compared to a lot of these other brands where it's just a push button and it's in all-time all-wheel drive or whatever. Those transfer cases, 400,000 miles on a 4Runner, and the transfer case works the same way it did when it was 1 day old, right? You won't see that in other brands.
Wow. Just wow. All right, back in the studio. You know, to our audience, did you notice I actually got a hug from Wes Hill, the man, the myth, the legend?
He is an enigma.
He does not like hugs.
He does not at all.
But my argument is, how do you stop love, man? Love runs the world, right? Wes, you're inside the heart, and so are Andrew and I.
What he's saying is you can't stop MJ.
You can't. So now we have 7 grades of the 4Runner with the price range starting from 41 to 67. It's going to ebb and flow, right, when you actually get to buy this car, depending on what kind of accessories they want to put on this vehicle. But the 67 high mark for the Trail Hunter and TRD Pro. One cool thing to consider when we look at the Trail Hunter, the new Trail Hunter, and the TRD Pro models is you have a 1-inch higher lift on that vehicle.
We love that. We love that.
Yeah.
A lift out of the factory.
Totally pro.
Totally pro. And totally hunter.
Totally hunter, yes. You got to hunt for the pro.
That's right.
So break this down, Andrew.
All right. So like he said, we've got a lot of different grades and strategies, and we've got new grades and we've removed some grades. So first, we're going to take a look. I did a quick interview at the Land Cruiser Museum in Salt Lake with Christine Delaney. She is the manager for our truck series for product planning. We're going to take a look at that. She's going to talk to us a little bit about grade strategy and ideas for 4Runner, and then we'll break down a little bit on those grades. All right, Christine, we've got a couple of questions for you. So really quick, how does the 4Runner differentiate itself from our strong product lineup?
Awesome. So the 4Runner obviously is the last of the 5 brothers, we'll say now, to launch with the full model change. It's coming with, a rugged design. Its brother, Land Cruiser, launching about a year earlier. They both are competing in the same space, right? They're both rugged mid SUVs, but the 4Runner is a little bit more versatile. So we've got a bunch of grades, 2 or 3 new ones that'll be coming out with the FMC. And we should have a flavor for every customer. So you've got on-road grades, you've got off-road grades. So really should satisfy anybody's need for what they're looking for from a rugged mid 2-row SUV.
And what do you think customers are expecting from the next generation of 4Runner?
Yeah, I think they've seen the rest of the vehicles that we've launched up till now. I think they're expecting probably better gas mileage with the new 4Runner, which they should be able to get with the hybrid system. But I would say the same QDR that they've grown to know and love with the 4Runner. So that will obviously be coming as part of its DNA. Still built in Japan, so it's got that great heritage. But just a refresh, right? So we needed a refresh, so we're getting the new technology, new powertrain. So it really should be the same DNA that they know and love. Just giving it a facelift and bringing it into the 21st century.
All right, last little bonus question. What is the thing you're most looking forward to on new 4Runner?
Most looking forward to probably the new grades to see how those sell. We've got Trail Hunter that'll be coming out. Tacoma launched it first. 4Runner's going to follow in its footsteps. So we'll have the Trail Hunter grade. We also have a new Platinum grade. So see how that does, kind of branching into the more luxury space for 4Runner. Then we've got TRD Sport. So I think I'm looking forward to seeing how the grades go along with the ones that are bread and butter like SR5 and TRD Off-Road and obviously TRD Pro. But then styling also. So love the new styling. Really sporty, rugged look. So I think it'll do fantastic. I think everybody's going to love it, and I can't wait for it to launch here in December, January.
So, obviously, Christine is bringing us some incredible knowledge. Her and her team are very talented, and we really appreciate the work that they do. I was slightly distracted by her Land Cruiser hoodie, but anything that flashes
that was
Land
awesome.
Cruiser always distracts me.
That was an awesome hoodie.
I got to bring it back and get on track. So if we're on track now, we are going to break through all of our grades. So we've got a few changes on there. So we're starting at SR5, like MJ mentioned, 41K. This is gas only. There's no hybrid option. And a change from our 5th generation is that we don't have an SR5 premium grade. Now I'm going to kind of bounce a little bit back and forth comparing this to our 5th gen and comparing it to Tacoma, because this is kind of the space that we're sitting in now. Is 6th gen will be somewhere in between new Tacoma, which you know all things about, and 5th gen, which you know all things about, and sort of a blend of both. When we move up to the TRD Sport, we have a TRD Sport Premium as well. The ranges between those is 47 to 52. Those, again, are gas only. And the TRD Sport, again, is one of those street-focused models, so not focused on off-road. Does it mean it can't do it? No. It just means that it's tuned and focused for the on-road use, just like we saw on Tacoma. When we move to the next group, it is the TRD Off-Road, which we also have a TRD Off-Road Premium available. That is $49,000 to $54,000. And that one does have a hybrid option. They're going to be standard with gas, but there is a hybrid option on those grades. So again, some of the similarities, but we're adding in the hybrid option like we see on Tacoma. When we go up into the next grade, it will be our limited grade that is starting at $60,000, and that one also has a gas and hybrid. So that one is going to be probably the most similar between Tacoma and 4Runner, where we saw limited, a few packages available. You can get it in gas or hybrid. It's going to be full-time four-wheel drive, and that also kind of matches what we saw on 5th gen. We had that full-time four-wheel drive on limited. So a lot of similarities in there, really just updating those features and powertrains.
And correct me if I'm wrong, these powertrains are going to be pretty much the same as Land Cruiser and Tacoma, right?
Yes.
If it's a hybrid, it's going to be the
Exactly.
same configuration. If it's gas,
Yeah,
same.
and thank you for bringing that up. I glossed over that. Our gas engine is a 2.4 liter turbocharged four-cylinder, just like we see in our in our Tacoma. And the hybrid is that same core engine with our one motor hybrid system added on. So the hybrid powertrain is the same across these three: 4Runner, Tacoma, and Land Cruiser. And the gas only is the same between 4Runner and Tacoma, where we have a four-cylinder turbocharged engine and an 8-speed automatic transmission. We're labeling that the iForce. The difference here is that on Tacoma, we've got an SR grade where we can buy a non-iForce engine. We don't have that available on 4Runner. They're all iForce, and it starts at SR5. When we go to our new grades, so the next two grades are new. We have Platinum, which is cream of the crop, right? We have our three Halo, I kind of call them the three Halo grades now. Platinum, Trail Hunter, and TRD Pro. On Tacoma, we only had Trail Hunter and TRD Pro, but on 4Runner, we get a Platinum. So this is really kind of a mono spec. We've fitted it with all of the bells and whistles that we can. We have one interior color across them. So it's a very simplified, but it is the luxury top vehicle for on-road usage. Obviously, it's going to be hybrid only. When we move to the next grade, Trail Hunter, that one is starting at $67K, and that one is hybrid only. All the same kind of features that you see on Tacoma, without things like the sport rack, because there's no bed, obviously. But we're going to have a roof rack on top of there instead. So there's some things that you can see, the similarities, the rock rails, the sway bar disconnect. Those are going to be shared between those two models. And then same thing when we get to Pro, we're going to see the same kind of suspension, upper control arms, all of those kinds of items, also starting at $67K and also hybrid only. So there's, as you can see, some similarities between those grades, but they're not all identical because we're taking a truck and an SUV and some things have to change. But something that's really cool is that Trail Hunter. In the Tacoma, we've got in the truck bed that the air compressor, the onboard. We also have it, even though it's inside the cabin on 4Runner, you still get that onboard air compressor. So really cool that they're bringing so much across these two grades, these two vehicle lines, because they're just really useful, cool features.
Yeah, and I love this too, guys, because you've seen in our previous podcasts, when we start looking at Tacoma and 4Runner and even Land Cruiser and Tundra, you have these hybrid options, which is part of our overall Toyota strategy of Beyond Zero, right? Lowering carbon emissions and making the world a better place. So it's so neat that we're actually introducing a lot of these options for our customers in these new products.
And a lot of people will say like, oh, well, MJ, the fuel economy is like not that much different. It's not like a Prius, right? And you're correct. We're not saying that this, because it's got an electric motor in it, that we're maximizing and having that Atkinson cycle and planetary gear set and all the things that make a two-motor hybrid very efficient. But what we can do is shrink the engine size and achieve the same power outputs and drivability that our customers want with a smaller displacement. So those are the things that we can do, that the emissions coming out of our vehicle can be very, very clean, even if the fuel economy doesn't seem like that would be the case.
Yes.
So that's the kind of stuff that our engineers have been working on and implementing to really make a difference with our Beyond Zero lineup and helping reduce our carbon footprint.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I want to bring up before I toss it over to MJ40 is, with our colors, we're seeing a lot of the same colors across the two Tacoma and 4Runner models. We're seeing a few different ones, like bronze oxide is not available on 4Runner, but we have a color that I personally like better, which is Everest. And you saw that on our debut of the Trail Hunter, that beautiful green color. Really excited about that. So that's kind of our big change in the color. You know, we're going to see underground, we're going to see ice cap, we're going to see a lot of those similar colors, but there will be a few small differentiators between the two. I don't know how that will look in the future with TRD Pro colors. I'm guessing that we'll still see the same TRD Pro colors available for both models, like Mudbath. But as far as Trail Hunter goes, the colors that we've debuted, those are actually different between the two. And I would suspect that Everest at some point ends up on Tacoma because it is a gorgeous color. But for now, I'm okay with 4Runner getting that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. So we're at the point in our podcast where we need to introduce to our audience our new teammate, Mountain Meg.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. And she loves to magnify how awesome our products are. And we'll call it megify. Megification
Magnification.
of our products. You know, I like to look at her when you meet Meg for the first time. She is the queen of cool, right? You can tell she is definitely into the lifestyle of being outdoors,
Yes.
right? She just radiates it, and plus pure awesomeness, right? But everything she says is just a magnification of our Toyota products being in that space, right? Camping, climbing, paddleboarding, whatever it is.
The lifestyle.
Yeah,
The
Meg is
lifestyle.
going to take it. He
Yeah.
loves clamping. She loves, I don't know, being active outside.
Yeah.
Right? Power bars.
I like driving, not necessarily
bars.
being active.
Exactly, right? So she kind of makes you want to grab some keys and get into the outdoors. So we're going to take you to an interview with Mountain Meg and see what she has to say. All right, my peeps. Guess what? We have a new teammate with the TRD Pro Bros. And I think it would be safe to say it's Mountain Meg, which I got to give her all the credit. She's the one that came up with that name, Mountain Meg, because she's always up in the mountains. But you have TRD Pro Bro 1, MJ40, TRD Pro Bro 2, A-List Andrew, and we've got TRD Pro Bro 3, Curbside Keller, and we have Toyota Pro Bro Cha-Cha.
There it is.
Mountain Meg. Huh? That's pretty. Let's do a heart for Mountain Meg and
Andrew
Bro
would love that.
Cha-Chas.
Bro Cha-Chas.
Because there's a big story with Bro Cha-Chas and the Toyota brand, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what, MJ? Pro Bros are not just for the boys. The
Ooh.
Bro Cha-Chas have arrived.
Oh, the Bro Cha-Chas have arrived. I'm so excited. So tell us about the Bro Cha-Chas and why it's so significant to the 2025 4Runner brand.
We're rolling strong with the 2025 4Runner brand. According to an SMP study, MJ, listen to this. 45 approximately % of 4Runner buyers, the females.
Females.
Let's go, girls.
Yes.
Let's go, girls.
Let's get some.
Mhm.
Now, here's the cool thing is Cynthia Barreras, our teammate that works on 4Runner at headquarters, her study shows about 40 to 43%. So it's all in line.
Yeah.
We know, I think it's safe to say that more than 40% of the buyers are women.
Yes.
Yeah. And what would women do with this brand, with the 4Runner?
You know what's interesting is we want it both ways. We want to have our mountain time, we want to off-road, we want to be out of cell service, packing our paddle boards, but we want a little bit of luxury, MJ.
Yeah.
We also want the comfy daily driver that gets us there in style and we can roll up anywhere and feel good about it. It also, in that study, it said that 4% more, women are 4% more loyal to the brand than men.
Ooh, wow. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is.
And that's pretty awesome if you think of it. That's almost like TRD, totally rad dude.
Totally
Where's,
rad.
where's Andrew?
Dudettes.
Where's Probo Dude? Right? So they're 4% more loyal.
Mm-hmm.
What's their income on average?
Yeah, average income is about $110,000
Okay.
for the 4Runner buyer.
So
Yeah.
they have enough money to not only purchase the vehicle, but also accessorize the vehicle.
Oh yes, that's an
Yeah.
important part of getting off-road in style.
One thing I noticed too with a lot of the studies I've noticed with women specifically is even in a marriage, they make 80% of the decisions. Now, I remember we talked about last broadcast, Andrew and I were talking about Specialized. When I bought my last racing bike, my wife already signed off on it months before.
Mhm.
But while I was buying it, I was constantly pinging her saying, hey, you sure? And hey, can I get these carbon zip wheels as well? Don't need them, but I really want them.
Yes.
And she's like, yeah, I already told you that. And I remember reaching out to her 3 or 4 times. And
She's like, leave me alone. I
yeah,
said yes.
like, you're good. And that just proved the point that women have a lot of sway on these big purchases,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we do. I think it's interesting too with the 110,000. The average age for a 4Runner buyer is actually 50 years old, which in that SUV range is
Yes.
actually a bit lower.
Yeah.
It's actually a bit younger.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because I'm 53, and so the people in my age bracket are there. But what's so weird is I have neighbors that are 21, 24, they're driving runners, but they're driving them used.
Yes, don't forget the used.
Yeah, and one of them, and specifically, he's a freshman in college, he has old man emu stickers And I'm only saying that because I'm trying to get brownie points with Andrew right now.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause he's not here. But Old Man Emu stickers on his vehicle, and he's got parts on his vehicle,
Oh.
which is part of our AAP catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Anything else? Like when you're in a 4Runner, you're camping, are you sleeping in the 4Runner with your sleeping bag? Are you doing a hammock, or are you doing a tent?
All of the above.
Yeah.
The adventure is ready for you, especially if you have those accessories. If I get off work late, I don't get to the mountains till after sunset, there's no way I'm setting up my tent. So the 4Runner, you can fold down all the seats, you can put the blow up in the back if you're bougie and glamping a little bit like Andrew probably does.
Yeah.
And you can get a nice nap. If you get there in time and you want to set up the whole thing, we got the crossbar that comes out, the hammock hooks right up to the vehicle. You got your refrigerator in the back, pump and power. Don't worry about the cooler mess. The sky is the limit for what you want to do.
And for you, you can use that 12-volt power to do your paddleboard, right?
I'm glad you reminded me of that. Yep, it's right in the back. Hook up the paddleboard, get that going. Grab the JBL right from the speaker system, bring it to the back. It's louder than the pump. We're living the high life out
large.
there.
We're living TRD, totally rad, dude. So, in closing of this interview, what's the one thing you love about the 2025 4Runner?
Oh, I could not possibly pick one thing, but if I had to, I would probably say, you hit it on the head already. It's the accessibility to power wherever you need it throughout the vehicle. It's in the front, it's in the back. And it might be a little basic, but that TRD that comes out with you, you can take that out camping with you. It's already charged up, ready to go.
The JBL speaker?
The JBL.
Yeah,
the JBL speaker.
Okay.
You can take it out with you. It's charged up. It's ready to go.
I did like how you call the JBL TRD.
Yeah.
'Cause we are TRD Pro Bros
Yes.
and TRD Pro Chachas.
Yes.
So it's almost like a slip of the tongue because your real love comes out. You can't hide it,
Mhm.
right? You can't hide it.
Mhm.
Well, Marvelous Meg, Mountain Meg, it's all marvelous because I'm looking at a mountain range right now,
Yes.
right behind Andrew, and it's
Stunning.
amazing. It's amazing.
Let's get out there.
Let's get out there and
All right, so we've gotten through quite a few interviews, right? This is like the third interview that we've showed on here. That's a lot of interviews and not a single Keller sighting. So we are going to toss it over to Curbside because it won't be a complete episode without that.
Nope.
He also has a list of interviewees with incredible information. So Curbside, we're tossing it over to you.
Curbside's just pro.
That's right.
So pro.
Yeah, he's got good etiquette.
Curbside Keller back again, this time with my friend, District Manager Sam Yeager. We're talking 4Runners, most specifically 4Runner accessories. As previous generation 4Runners started to get a little long in the tooth, they started to sit around a little bit. We came up with the idea, you spearheaded it, good, better, best, loading up those accessories. What were the results of that?
So yeah, we found that 4Runners were starting to sit for upwards of 20 to 30 days. And so what we decided to do was we worked with a few dealerships and decided, hey, we want to accessorize cars because we realized that accessories sell cars. As crazy as it sounds, it does. And we were able to prove our point by creating the good, better, best package. It was a stair stepper package that started out probably around like $800 with just a few accessories, worked its way all the way up to $6,000 worth of accessories on 4Runner. And so what the results of that were we found that 4Runners went from selling to 20 to 30 days to right around 7 to 9 days. So that was something that we really found a huge success with of, hey, accessories do sell. It does move the needle.
It's like definitely smart loading works. And then we've seen that. We've had conversation with SEMA. They're going to load those cars. They're going to either pay for it themselves on the Visa or they're going to finance it. Let's give them a chance. Let's put some genuine Toyota. Let's put some other stuff on there. Let's sell the car, customize it for the customer. Then they'll sell that much faster. Profitability for all, satisfaction for the customer.
Absolutely. That's kind of what our whole thought process was behind it. With the accessory industry, I mean, it's a $6 billion industry plus. So it was something that we realized we needed to get our foot in the door. And in doing this, we realized that, yeah, these things actually work. And so we've now expanded it to other lines, but our first one continuing forward is going to be 4Runner always.
And cutting it a third of the time to sell, that helps all of us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the faster you're turning these cars out, the happier customers are, and then also the quicker that you can replace it with more units coming in through allocations, whatever it might be.
Awesome. Thanks for the innovation. Thanks for helping us all make a little more money, sell a few more 4Runners. Hopefully we can have the same success with this new 4Runner. Okay, accessories. I love accessories. Had a chance to get my mind totally blown by visiting SEMA this last year. All the fun stuff that you can put on a Toyota, especially Toyota 4Runners. Had a lot of the new Land Cruiser out there also. What's your take on accessories?
I guess my biggest thing is I look at it as it's a way for you to show off your vehicle. And I will say, Toyota at first, we have not been in the accessory game. It's been something that we have struggled with for a while. And over the past 3 years, we realized that there was a problem, and I'm glad that we did, because we have so many more accessories now that are out there for us that, I mean, me personally, just looking at some of the cars, like even when I customize my car, my wife's car, I'm throwing as many accessories as I possibly can on there, just because it's my expression of like myself. It's something that I love to do, and it's something that customers love to do. I mean, you see vehicles on the road every single day that are crazy. I mean, we make fun of it, but you see the guys with huge tires, lift kits, and you sit there and say, oh, you got big tires, little whims, stuff like that. But it is an expression of yourself. And so that's what I truly love about accessories is you can do whatever you want and customize your car the way that you want to.
Exactly. We got a lot of options out there, our own. We got a lot of good friends at headquarters building new accessories for us, especially for the new 4Runner. Mild to wild, mall crawler to rock crawler, whatever your budget or imagination can get you. Thanks for your time.
That's great.
Curbside Keller back again, this time with Accessory Ashland in charge of our 6 states that make up the Denver region in regards to sales and ordering of GR, TRD, and OE accessories. Ashland, what's your take on accessories, especially 4Runner?
Guys, I hope you are amped up on accessories. We have a lot coming out, and customers are interested. Accessories is a huge industry, and we are just scratching the surface. So I have a couple facts here. 39% of customers buy and install accessories in store. 37% of them order online and install them themselves. 50% of customers are under the age of 40. 50% of customers are spending over $500 per transaction, and 41% of them rely on word of mouth. And the most important stat yet is 75% of these drivers would prefer to buy from the dealership, but they were not asked.
Why? We have them on the hook. We just sold them a car. Why are we not asking them?
Exactly. We need to make the sale. We have 41 of our 71 stores in the Denver region on AIM, which is our accessory interactive menu. We need to take advantage of this. Our average sales per transaction is $1,200 to $1,700, and that's just on truck. So the most important thing is we have to ask for the sale. And if you guys are ever curious as to what we have to offer, please take a look at asg.toyota.com. It has our whole portfolio of accessories with images included.
Accessory Sales Guides has been around for a really long time. Lots of good information on there. Pricing, pictures, good stuff there to help with the sale. AIM. I hear AIM's really easy to use.
Very easy. Easy for the customer, easy for you. Please take advantage of it.
AIM is not much different than the Amazon experience. I hand you a tablet, or you could go online, or some dealers even have kiosks. Super awesome, the dealers who have that. I give it, it's loaded with your car, and you just go, I want one of those, I want one of those, I want one of those. At the end, gives you the pricing. Yes or no, oh, that's a little too much. Okay, maybe I won't go with one of those. Put it on there, load it up. It can be part of the deal. Finance there at whatever fantastic Toyota rate versus 18, 20% on your Visa card.
Exactly. And most importantly, my last reminder, you have to ask for the sale. Customers want to buy.
Can't sell it if you don't ask.
Correct.
Thanks for your time.
TRD Pro Bros right here. I'm
Yes.
with John Motchel,
He's one of the owners of Toyota of Laramie,
Toyota of
up in
Laramie.
Wyoming.
Go
right?
Pokes!
Yeah, the Cowboys,
The
right? Cowboys. So I wanted to get a little interview for our viewers for the, was it the 4Runner pre-launch? That's what we're
Yeah.
doing right now. And
Exciting.
we've got a guy that you've operated in Colorado, Eastern Colorado, Northern Colorado. Now you have a store in Wyoming.
Yeah.
What do you think about the 4Runner, the new one coming out?
You know, it is badass. That 4Runner is awesome. So when you see it at the store, you guys are gonna freak out.
What do you think your customers are going to like about this new 4Runner?
I think they're gonna like the technology. You know, the old 4Runner is a dead dog and it's still selling. This new one's got all the cool technology.
Twin
in it.
turbo,
Yeah.
get a little hybrid version.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is your favorite part about this new 4Runner? We are at the dealer meeting.
I think it's the styling. The styling of the new 4Runner is just, it's awesome. I mean, it's a game changer. So the new 4Runner is going to be bad. We've had to wait a long time for it, but man, was it worth the wait.
And
Thank
you know
you,
what?
as always, Curbside, bringing us the critical information in a timely manner. The new 4Runner has been completely re-engineered to take it to a new level. Like I said, the 5th gen 4Runner is a difficult vehicle to displace because of how well they did it, but I do believe that they have done it. So really, really happy to be able to work and meet all of these cool planners and marketing specialists. And that brings us to Cynthia Barreras. We love Cynthia. She is awesome. Tons of enthusiasm,
Amazing.
tons of skill and knowledge in this area, which is why we want her on our team, helping us out with 4Runner, getting the word out and what the direction of this vehicle should be, because it's a home run when we have people like her working on our team. So with that, we're going to kick it over for a quick clip that she sent over to us.
Hey guys, my name is Cynthia Barreras. I am the Toyota marketing planner for all things 4Runner. You can call me 4Runner's #1 fan. And I'm just here to say I'm so excited that we're right about to have them go on sale. It's been years in the making. I know I've been working on this project for years, and I've been able to see 3D renderings. I've been able to work with prototypes, but now I'll know that they're going to be hitting the showroom floors, hitting the dealer lot soon, and I can't wait. It's just pent-up anticipation. If you've ever followed any of our social media content, our social channels, we can post about Tundra. People are asking, where's 4Runner? We can post about Camry. People are talking about, where's 4Runner? We can post about Land Cruiser, and people will still be like, where is 4Runner? And we can almost say it's here. Almost. And so I'm super excited about it. Lots of great things to come. 9 model trims, including the all-new Platinum and all-new Trail Hunter, with some sprinkling in of some premium offerings with like TRD Sport. Hello, TRD. And so, you know, you can't forget about our big bang shebang TRD Pro, right? The all LB all and awesome color mud bath. I mean, 2025 brings you new trims, it brings you new colors, it brings you new technology, and it brings that anticipation to finally to the forefront, right? It's here. We can stop asking. Hopefully you guys will start driving them soon. And I'm just so excited. This is a truck that has a loyalty that's really difficult to kind of pinpoint. We've done tons of research, and people who love it know it has this X factor. It gives the driver behind the wheel this confidence. Women love this vehicle, has a high percentage of women ownership, and dog owners. I'm a dog owner. I love that I can lower the power rear window and access things in the back, and I can also move and take out my dogs. And so it's just, there is a 4Runner for everybody. I recently heard a saying, and I love it. There's a lid for every pot. There's a 4Runner for every person, because you have your plethora of choices based on whether you want to do on-road performance and styling and be, you know, a pavement princess or a mall crawler. Hey, more power to you. I respect the hustle. Or if you're out there grinding on the roads, doing some dips in some sand dunes and crawling over some rocks, we have our TRD off-road, which is like our core DNA of 4Runner. It's there for you.
All right, Cynthia. Man, that was amazing. I love that girl. Did she not have the coolest hoodie? ever?
Always. She's
Even the hat.
always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she is a little treasure trove of just full throttle information.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like how she gets kind of nerdy about it. you
Yeah.
know? That's why she's
It fits in.
was it a brochacha? A cischacha? We definitely got to make her part of it.
I don't speak very good Spanish, so we'll have
They
to.
say muchacha, so we could say cischacha. So I really love the wheels, too, that they've planned into this launch. Lots of wheels that come with this product, especially the TRD wheels, because we're TRD Pro Bros, and when you know, you know.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
totally pro.
And it's on our show.
And it's all the show, right? But eventually we will see 5 TRD wheel options for this truck. 20-inch for the TRD Sport, TRD Sport Premium, which they actually look pretty good because typically 20 inches are what you see on a platinum type level vehicle. They actually did a really nice job to make it still have that heritage of off-road.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, and it fits. Like it all kind of meshes together and doesn't seem out of place.
No.
You know, it wasn't like, oh, they're trying too hard to put that on there.
Yeah, I noticed they had them in SEMA, one of our products. I'm like, man, that's a good looking wheel.
Yeah.
They also have 18-inch TRD Off-Road Premium, and Trail Hunter, which is that bronze, right?
Yeah.
And then the TRD Pro. So that's 18-inch wheels for that. Yeah. What's your favorite, A-List?
I mean, I have struggled with our wheels in the past. I haven't really loved them, a lot of two-tones and stuff. But the last few years, they have brought the heat on wheel design, and I'm very happy about that. I'm going to have to actually go a little bit off this list, that the accessory TRD wheel that's available for all grades. I love that wheel.
Yeah.
It's all black. I love the design of it.
The red treatments.
It looks so good. So any of these look great. I think from this lineup, I'd pick the TRD Pro. I love the style of the wheel that they've made for that. But what I really like is that the accessory wheel they offer is something that I would want. And that just helps the whole plan, the process of, hey, it comes with these wheels. They look great. If you want something that looks even better, here's some accessory wheels. Instead of like, why are you even making that accessories wheel? No one likes that, right?
And I like that too, Andrew, because if you're an SR5 buyer and you're in that $41,000 range and you get those wheels, you still have those center caps that Andrew was mentioning earlier that look phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're really not going to miss out on the cool factor.
Totally. There's still ways to accessorize it and bring it to how you want it to look. And speaking of those center caps, that brings us to my A-list. And this is, this is always hard. But I'm going to try and do my best here. So with 4Runner, obviously, we haven't seen a lot released because we're early in that stage. But we know what's coming, and that's what I'm building my list off of. So the first one is Trail Hunter upper control arms because they're bronze. And I'm a sucker for bronze. I think it looks so good. So Trail Hunter upper control arms, they look great. They're functional, and I would absolutely put them on an SR5.
And they showcase those in the Flagstaff Overland Expo, the Colorado Overland Expo, as well as SEMA. So this is all public information.
Yeah, and if you if you haven't seen one, take a look at any Trail Hunter Tacoma. You'll see exactly what they look like, right?
Exactly.
The next one goes along with that bronze, and that is the bronze overlay for emblems. So we've had black overlays for a while. They're introducing bronze overlay, and it looks sharp and it matches things, right? So everything can be on the same color scheme of this bronze. I think it looks awesome, and I really, really like that. The third thing is the topographical overlay. So you can see it at the bottom edge of the doors. On Tacoma, they have it on the tailgate too, but it's a topographical map that's just an applique that goes on the bottom, and it has, you can get a black one or a clear one, so there's some options. And to MJ40's point about Overland Expo, you see this on other people's vehicles. I think it looks super cool.
Totally looks cool.
And it's on the bottom edge of the door, so honestly, like, it kind of protects things a little bit.
And there's a risk, right? For us, our dealers, you got to show it to know it.
Yeah.
And if you put it on there, like we talked about earlier, if I didn't see it, I would be like, I don't know if I want it. But once you see it on the product, you're like, that looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks super cool.
Yeah.
So that's another top item for me. The next one is going to be more of a generic item, and this is tossing it out to our friends at Yakima. That's the Skybox. We're in that time of year where people have extra jackets and pants and boots when they're going to the snow. And even in the Sienna, the Skybox is helpful. So I can toss all the gear that you don't need up above, and you got plenty of space in the car. And it works on 4Runners, it works on Siennas, multiple applications there. The last one I want to show is the center caps. So there's a lot of people that are buying these center caps and putting them on their Land Cruisers, and it looks awesome. They're available in black and bronze. We'll put the part number up here and a little picture, but instead of having the Toyota bug as your center cap, it just says Toyota in Heritage font on the center cap. It looks so awesome.
Yeah.
And they're not that expensive. I would definitely put them on any of my vehicles.
I would too.
Whether it's a
Yeah.
black wheel or a bronze one, they're super cool and super simple. I would not hesitate slapping those on.
When you showed me those, Andrew, the only thing I thought about was those center caps look as good, if not better, than your amazing hair. That's why you mentioned blonde, right? It was subconscious because
right.
we all know your hair's amazing.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I still think these center caps look better than my hair.
Okay. But you know what? You show it, so I know it.
That's So that's my top
Yeah.
5 list. Some are a little bit more obscure than others, but it just goes to show you that there are so many options for customization and so many different types of people that it can appeal to.
Exactly. Yeah. And I agree with you, man. All of your list, and there's so much more, right, that we could talk about. But these are very low hanging fruit. I liked your Yakima box because you have 4 kids. I have 5. It's amazing doing road trips with that Yakima box.
Yeah.
It's locked.
Yeah.
You can put stuff in there that frees up space for the cabin.
Yep.
Total home run. And what, you lose what, 1 mile per gallon?
I think it only changed 1 on my drive to California and back.
Yeah. And so when you're on a budget with the family we have, getting that 34, 35 miles per gallon,
every bit counts.
But let's not have Sienna hijack the 4Runner.
I know,
because we love the Sienna.
Like I said,
we love the
you can
Sienna.
also put it on a 4Runner.
You could, and we see them a lot in Colorado.
Yeah,
a lot of boxes. So.
Totally.
All right, well, folks, we're kind of nearing the end. We want to thank you so much for tuning in to our 2025 4Runner product reveal or update that we want to do. We hope you learned a lot from us today. We hope it was entertaining, but also educational. But we look forward to seeing you at our drive experience. For you dealers listening right now in February and March, we'll be coming to you. Want to give special thanks to one of our faves, Christine Delaney, Toyota Truck Manager. You get a heart for her.
Always.
Love that Land Cruiser hoodie, like you mentioned, all the way.
We did listen to what you said. We just also liked the hoodie, okay?
Yeah, I was being distracted. I was like, hoodie, what you saying? Hoodie. It was a constant. It was like a ping pong match.
That's right.
Cynthia Barreras, she had to one up because we told her about that hoodie. She's like, oh, I got one for you.
She crushed it.
She delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also distracted by that hoodie.
Yeah, she's a Toyota 4Runner product manager, so she's personally involved with the development of this product. I call her the professor, even though I call him the professor. So we got 2 professors. So smart, so TRD, so totally rad, dude.
Totally rad.
Totally rad, dude.
Totally rad.
And then we hope you loved Mountain Meg as much as we do. The queen of cool on the demographic of this product, the lifestyle vibe, all that stuff. And then again, who else do we got to thank?
Curbside.
Yeah.
Always have to save a little bit for Curbside. He's getting out there talking to Ashland Madrid.
Just a home run.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think that's everybody. It was a long list this time.
Yeah, it was.
It was a long, and also a special shout out to Wes Hill. Thank you as well, Wes.
Yeah, let's give a heart to Wes Hill.
And
we'll both be in it. We love you, Wes.
And I'm pretty sure he's going to hug you when he sees you next.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. For sure. You can count on that.
All right. Well, when you know, you know. And it's totally pro.
It's totally pro. Yeah, because we deliver the show, and the show is Toyota products and accessories.
That's right.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you.